our Montessori Thrive Facebook group. So if you're a member of that group and you're joining us from there, welcome. We'll keep an eye on Facebook in case you have any questions. If you're joining us on Zoom, we're happy to see you here. This is very much a collaborative meeting. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to unmute yourself, or you can also drop any comments, questions in the chat. I'll make sure to keep an eye on that throughout the presentation. So yeah, welcome to our Montessori Town Hall. Today I'm going to be talking all things Instagram for Montessori schools. We're happy you're here. Here's just a little overview of what we're going to be touching upon today. We're going to talk about why Instagram is so important nowadays, how it's important to be adapting to new platforms, and how you can set up your profile and understand all of Instagram's new features. They're always adding new features. Usually it's to compete with other platforms, so it's just good to stay up to date with those. We're also going to talk about using Instagram on different devices, such as using Instagram on your computer versus on your phone. What kind of content you want to be posting on Instagram, what goals you should be setting on this platform, how your team can help at your school, what other platforms might be important in the future. And I'm also going to offer up some resources that can help you with Instagram. So let's go ahead and get started. I'd love for everyone to just introduce themselves in chat, and so just so we can get to know one another. I know some of you are our clients with Nido Marketing and Montessori Thrive. So just drop in the chat where you're joining us from. Nice to get to know one another. We have lots of regulars, which is great. Molly joining us from Santa Cruz, awesome. Jamie joining us from Massachusetts. Chelsea joining us from Santa Barbara, Renee from Boston. So we're really all over. This is great. Phoenix, hi Patty from Phoenix. Anisha joining us from Toronto. Janice from DC. Carol from Massachusetts. Oh, sorry. Miranda here from Amelia Island, Florida. Great. So we have a really diverse group. It's nice to see people from all over. Awesome. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So the big question is, why Instagram? Why has Instagram become so important when it comes to reaching out to prospective families and communicating with your current families? Really, we're entering the age of Instagram because a lot of our parents are part of the millennial group now. This is the group that we're targeting the most. This is just the young parent group. We've kind of moved on. Yes, we'll have a couple of Gen Z parents. Those are the really young parents right now. But really, millennials are active on Instagram, more so even than Facebook. So it's important to be able to use the platform properly and to be able to reach them and communicate with them. This is not going to be the case forever, but this is the case for right now. So it's important to always keep an ear out for what platforms are growing in popularity. And right now, in terms of communication with a business, on Instagram is something that's really great. I put a little question here. Does this mean you should still post on Facebook? We believe so. It's great to post on as many platforms as you can. So just because Instagram is growing a little bit more in popularity than apps like Facebook is, it doesn't mean you should stop posting there. Luckily, they are both owned by Meta. So you can actually post on Facebook and on Instagram at the same time if you set up your accounts and link them together. This is very easy to do when you set up your account. You can just connect. It'll ask you if you want to connect it to a Facebook account, or you can go onto your settings and link it to your school's Facebook, and you can post on both platforms at the same time. So we still recommend posting on Facebook, but we feel strongly that Instagram is going to be a little bit more popular and probably more highly used by millennial parents. Taking the temperature. With that said, I still think it's important to know your own community and audience. Everywhere is different. Some communities might really enjoy using Facebook more, or have older parents. Maybe if you're a school that has adolescents, you can really benefit from using tools on Facebook as well as Instagram. So it's important to take a poll and see what's going on in your community. What's the preference? A way you can do this is just to conduct a simple survey in your community. See what your current families are interested in. check engagement, keep an eye on things like likes. Usually if you set up a business account, you can see things like how many people you're reaching, how many views you have on a post. So keep an eye on this. You can also ask prospective parents how they learned about your school, or you can simply ask them, did you check out our school's Instagram? Were you able to find that information? And you can ask them this on a tour or just when you see how they were able to find out about your school. More likely than not, they won't discover you through Instagram. Maybe they will. Some people are doing that. But they're going to look at your Instagram account or see if you're on socials. But it's good to feel out, oh, did you visit our Facebook? Did you visit our Instagram? Where were you able to see our information, our pictures, things like that? So it's always good to take the temperature at your school and see what people are leaning towards. If you need a survey template, we're going to add one to Thrive. So it's just a simple questionnaire that you can send out to parents that ask them about their social media usage. You don't have to do this, but it's great if you're really curious about where they are, whether they're on Facebook, whether they're on Instagram, or any other platforms that you might be able to reach them. It's really short, something that will last 5 minutes. You can add it to a Google survey. You can add it to a SurveyMonkey. You can just send out an email about it. So it can be helpful to just see where people are. So getting started on Instagram, adapting and understanding new features. So Instagram is always adding a bunch of new features. What it was when it first launched was simply just a place where you could post one picture at a time and people could like it. That was it. Now there are so many new features because Instagram is competing with many different platforms. And it's important to know how to use these features because it can help you with engagement and reaching new families. So I'm going to just go over some of the new features that you should know about. So first, I'm going to talk about best practices when it comes to building your profile as a school. Many of you might already have your profile set up, which is great, but here are just some things that can help you have a successful and professional looking profile. Firstly, you want to make sure that you select a username that is simple and professional. Some might already be taken, but you can test out a couple. Great one is just all one word, your Montessori. You can add in underscores as well to break up the words, such as your school name, underscore Montessori. You can add the name of your school, Montessori school, the name of your school, and the city that you're located in. But make it simple if possible. If hopefully your name, the name that you want isn't taken. If it is, you can always add punctuation, such as a period, or you can add an underscore. I recommend setting up a business profile. This is really something that you want to do on a smartphone. I highly recommend setting up your account using a smartphone instead of setting it up on your computer. For Facebook, it's different. For Facebook, I would recommend setting it up on a desktop, not for Instagram. You won't even be able to put a link in your bio on a computer. You have to add it on a phone only. So I recommend doing that. It's very easy to set up. They make it as easy and seamless as possible to have a business profile set up. They'll ask you, is this a business or a private profile? And you click business. You can add in your phone number, your website, and what kind of business you are. Now they do have the option that you can identify yourself as a school. So it's great. So you can set that up very easily. And I recommend doing that. If you already have an Instagram account set up and you want to do that, all you have to do is go to settings and you can edit your profile. You can add, you can make it a business account. You can link it to a Facebook. And again, this is so much easier to do on a phone. If you need any help with the step-by-step process, Instagram has so many help pages that will literally list the steps. And once you set that up, you probably won't need to tweak it. So it's one and done. In your bio, you want to make sure that you state that you're a Montessori school, include location, ages you serve, and if you have any accreditation. So if you're AMI, AMS, or any other sort of accreditation, you want to include that in your bio. And of course, you want to include a link to your website. Unlike Facebook, Instagram doesn't allow you to link things on a post. The only links that you can really use on Instagram, or the only places where you can place them, is in your bio or when you post a story, and I'll show you how to do that later. But it's important to have that website link on your bio. So again, this is just a step-by-step process for how to set up a business account. And this is directly from Instagram's Help Center. I linked it here. So if you want to visit that page, you can click it. We'll post this presentation onto Thrive, so you can click through all of these resources. But it's very straightforward. It's very simple. So it's important to set that up. Here's just a little sample. I'm using the Nido Marketing profile as a sample here, but as you can see, best practice is to always use your school logo as your profile picture. This is our logo and that's our profile picture. You want to make sure it's not blurry. I've seen it where usually when you have a logo, the background, when you open it up on Photoshop, will be checkered. You want to make sure not to do that because I've seen this happen. You want to make sure it's just on a white background and your logo. So make sure it's high quality. Otherwise, it just looks unprofessional. Our username is Nido Montessori Marketing. And then here you can see below the profile picture, I have the name of my business. You can put your full school name with spaces. A sample would be, AMS accredited Montessori school in Washington, D.C. programs for children aged 2 years to 12 years. And I would have my school website linked there in the bio so people can click. What you'll see here, if you set up a business account, you'll see the professional dashboard square, and that'll just show you how many people you've reached. This is why it's important to set up a business account, because it gives you some insights as to how people are interacting with you, how much engagement and reach you're getting. Then below that, you see the option to edit profile, share profile. You can always tweak this if you need. And below that, you'll see my story highlights. I'll talk about story highlights. This is a great feature that all schools should know about and should utilize because it's going to help with engagement and visibility. So that's just what the profile will look like. So the first feature I really want to talk about is Reels. This is Instagram's response to TikTok. Instagram just basically steals how other apps are doing things, and this is their response to TikTok, which is growing in popularity. Video content is more likely to receive engagement across platforms nowadays, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram. So it's important to consider making video content. With that said, we understand that this is more time-consuming content to make. So if you can outsource this in any way, if you can get your assistants to help with little videos, you can even just do a picture collage and make that into a video. You don't actually have to go out there and record a video. You can just do a collage. But really, Instagram Reels are going to be a great way to speak to parents, for them to engage with your content. And it's just beneficial to be posting video content on this app. Instagram Reels can be anywhere from a few short seconds. You can post a 10-second video to 15 minutes. For instance, if you wanted to talk about a parenting topic, you can do a longer video. You can add music directly on the Instagram app. I'll show you how to do that in the next slide. And also, like I said, you can use images to create Reels or videos. You don't always have to create Reels using an actual video, which is going to save you time. So I'm going to play this video, which just basically shows you how you can post a Reel on Instagram. Let me know if you can hear this, Camille. Whenever you create a post, you're going to want to click on that little square with a plus sign in the middle of the screen. This indicates that you want to post something. You can post a picture or you can post a reel. So if I wanted to post a reel, I would simply click down here on reel. I can post images as reels or videos. So if I have any saved videos, that's great. I can just upload them. You can edit them easily on Canva. For this example, I'm just going to be using a picture, which you can actually use pictures to create reels, and that can help you engage a little bit more with your audience. For the sake of this sample, I'm just going to select this image. I'll click next when I'm happy with the length. You can make this longer or shorter. You can actually add in music. So if it's a picture or a video that you would just like to add in some music to, it's very easy to do that. You click that music note and you can look up a song that you'd like to add. There's all sorts of music available on here. You can add a classical song, you can add a trending song. So it's great. When I'm happy with that, I'll go ahead and click next. Here I can add a bunch of stickers if I want to. If I click this little square with a smiley face, I can add in a couple of features here that might be fun. I'll go ahead and click next. It says others can now download and share your reels. Great. And here I can just add a caption. If I wanted to change the cover photo, I could click edit cover and I can pick from my camera roll. So I can pick something. If maybe that's not what I want to go for, I can pick a different image as my cover, and that's what's going to turn up on your grid. You can also see how it will actually turn out on your profile grid here. It's very easy. So there you can see how it's going to look on your grid on your account. When I'm happy with that, I'll go ahead and click done. And again, I can add a caption. I can tag people. I can tag products. I can select my audience. Is this going to be private? Is this going to be public? I can add a location. I can add a fundraiser, add reminders. There's a lot of different features here. And then when it's all done, I'll go ahead and click that share button. So that's pretty much how you post reels. Again, I recommend doing this on a phone if possible. And really the best way to get a hang of it is just to use the app. And once you figure out how to do it once, it's very easy to repeat the process. Another feature that you should know about on Instagram is how you post stories and highlights. This is a really important feature nowadays because I don't know if anyone has noticed, but on Instagram, when you scroll down your feed, you're getting a lot more advertisements today than you were maybe a year ago. And this is because Instagram decided they wanted to make more profits and they are clouding everyone's feeds with suggested follows or ad content. What this has meant for stories is that this is how people are engaging with their followers. They are posting stories, and normally people who visit Instagram are not in the mood to look at ads anymore. So what they'll do is they'll just click through the stories. So if you want to post to be seen by your community, you always want to be reposting it on Instagram stories. They are less clouded by ads. You can add links that will direct people to your website. For instance, if you just published a blog, you can link it in your story. If you want to invite people to an open house and you have a link, you can link that in your story. You can't do that on a post. So there's a lot of cool features available on stories that aren't available on your main feed posts. And you can always repost those posts. So you don't have to create new content for stories. You can just simply repost something that you posted on your main feed onto your stories. And I'll show you how to do that now in the next video. I'm going to be showing you how you can post an Instagram story on your profile. So here I am on my profile that I'm using as the sample. You can go ahead and post stories in two different ways. So firstly, if I want to repost a post that I've posted on my main feed onto my story, I would just click on that post. Let's say I want to share this post onto my story. I'll go on it. I'll click this little send button. You'll see a heart button, a speech bubble button, and next to it, a button that looks like send. If I click on that, I have the option here on the lower left-hand side to add to story. I'll click that and it'll drag that post up to my story. Here I can add an additional text. I can also add in a bunch of other features such as location, a mention. I can also add a fun song if I want to, a link. A link is great if you want to share a blog article or a link to an open house registration or just a tour registration. So you can add in a bunch of features. You can also add in things like a countdown. This is great if you're counting down to a parenting class or a fundraising event. So there's a variety of different features you can add. Then when I'm happy with that, I'll go ahead and click the Your Story button and it will post it to my story. So now I can go to my story and I'll see it there. You can see that little ring around my profile has a color that indicates that you now have a story that people can click on. Alternatively, if you want to post a story that isn't something that's on your main feed, what you would do is click this plus button. This is going to lead you again to create a post. Instead of post, you're going to click story and it will drag you to your camera. If you want to select a picture, you would just click that button on the very lower left-hand side. This is your camera roll, and you can go ahead and select a picture that you want to share to your story. Same thing here. You can add in text, you can add in different features. And when you're all happy with that, you can go ahead and add that to your story and it will add it to your story. Any questions on posting Instagram stories? I see a lot of schools doing it already, so I'm happy to see that it's something that is being used, but Again, it's once you start using it on the app, you'll really get the hang of it, and it will take seconds to upload a story. I'm going to be showing you how you can. Is this a different video? I think this is a different. Hold on. I'm going to be showing you how you can post an Insta. Sorry. All right. I think in this video here, I'm going to be showing you how you can actually create that Instagram highlights. So if you want to make your story post visible for longer than 24 hours, you can create highlights that are different categories. And it's very easy to do as well. And this will make that story visible for as long as you have it up. You can always go back and delete it, but it will make it permanent on your account until you go in and delete it. So I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to be showing you how you can create these Instagram highlights here on your profile. These are story highlights. I have these beautiful story highlight covers on them as well to make them look professional and cohesive with my brand. I'll show you how you can create these on Canva. Also, if you have a graphic designer on site, you can do that as well. Or you can just use photos of your classroom or something that's appropriate for the highlight. But I have a variety of different categories here. Great ones for a Montessori school can be things like parent resources, parenting classes, open house, primary, elementary, toddler. You can do a different highlight for each program, summer camp. So you can do a variety of different story highlights that are relevant and fun. So if you want to create one, you would just simply go to New. What this is going to then do is take you to all of your previous stories. So they may have disappeared off of my stories because they only lasted 24 hours, but they always stay here on the record. So you can select any story that you want to repost on a story highlight. Let's say I want to select this one. I'll go ahead and click next. Here's where I can edit the cover, and I can add in those beautiful covers if I want. For the sake of the example, I'm just going to go ahead and change it to maybe a shelf. I'm happy with that cover. I'll go ahead and click done. Here you can name the highlight. This is where I would go ahead and put in that name. I'll put this as primary. That's going to be the theme of the highlight. And I'll go ahead and click add. And that is going to add that to my story highlights so that it's now visible forever. If I want to delete it, it's very easy. I'll go back on it and I can put remove to highlight. If you only have one highlight, that will completely vanish from your profile. If not, it will stay on, but just that one individual post will be deleted. Here you can see some other examples of previous ones I have posted. So let's just say I want to go ahead and delete that, and you'll see that it will then disappear from my profile. Any questions on creating highlights? This is just a fun way for parents to interact with your content. I'm going to be showing you how. So if you want to create those story highlights, I really recommend it. It's a great branding opportunity and it makes your school look cohesive. A lot of schools are doing this beautifully. It's easy to do on an app like Canva or using Photoshop. Again, I'm just listing out here different categories that you can include on your highlights. You can include ones for anything that you may need. Any announcements. You can have one for blog articles, and you can just be creative. I recommend taking a look at what other schools are doing, what kind of categories they have, but these are just some that I pulled. So I'm going to do a little video tutorial next on how I created the story highlights using Canva. So if you have access to Canva, these are so easy to create and you can use your school colors and it just looks so much cleaner and more professional. So I'm going to show you how to make those story highlights on Canva. If you have Canva, that's great. You can make those little professional looking logos easily. I'm just going to go to create a design and I'm going to put Instagram story highlight cover. And I'm going to click on that. That's going to take me to create those covers. There's a variety of templates already available. I recommend checking these out and you can tweak them. There's all sorts of colors. Of course, you can add in your own colors. For the sake of this sample, I'm just going to go ahead and click on this one. I can add in different graphics. Let's say I want to change the color of this to match my school colors. saying my school colors are these shades of green, and I can add in a new figure. Let's say this is going to be for parent resources. Let's see if I go to shapes and graphics. Let's put parent. I think this one might be more representative. Can add that, change the color, and I have the story highlight cover for parent resources. I can download this onto my smartphone, and I can easily add that on using my phone. If I go to edit cover, and it will fit that circle perfectly. You don't have to alter the picture if you download it on your smartphone. So that's great. I highly recommend doing this on Canva. It's just so quick and easy, and it makes the profile look so much more cohesive and professional, and it takes a couple seconds. So I'm going to show you how to make another feature that you should be using if you want to engage with your audience is using carousel posts. This is just the option to post more than one picture on an individual post. You may have already noticed this on Instagram when you're swiping through it yourself, but now when you see certain posts, you can actually swipe and see more than one picture on each post. It's very easy to do. And it's great because you don't have to clog your parents' feeds. I see a question here. Thanks, Miranda. It's very quick and easy to do this. So I'll go ahead. I think I put a video together. Yes. Another great example of a great Instagram feature is the carousel post. Here I am on North Shore Montessori School's Instagram account. They have a great Instagram and they're using the carousel posting. This is for if you want to post more than one picture in a main feed post. So you can see it'll show up like this with a tiny square. And if you slide, you can see the variety of pictures within one post. It's really easy to do. So if I wanted to do this, I would just go back to that post button. And as I see here, it gives me the options of my images and what I want to post. You see a little circle with a camera and a little circle with the carousel image, which is a little square with another square like peeking behind it. If you click on that, you can select the pictures you want and you can change the order around. So if I mess up and I don't want that one to be the first one, I can always change the order around just by tapping on them. Let's say I'm happy with those 4 images. Great. Here they are. Here's the carousel post. So I have that ready to post within one single post, and they can slide and view the different images. I'll go ahead and write my caption, and then I can go ahead and share that. And it will quickly show up on my profile, and I'll see it with the little carousel option so I can slide. So it's really easy to do. It's a great way to, for instance, if you're having an event or a special project, you can take multiple pictures and you don't have to post 7 posts in one day. You can just show different pictures from a birthday celebration or any kind of activity that you're doing and you want to just do that individual post. So I recommend using that feature. Another feature you should be utilizing is the hashtag. Oh, I see a question here. My understanding is that all photos in a carousel post have to be the same size, correct? That's true. It'll just automatically adjust the size for you. So it will adjust the size to whatever picture you posted first. So if you're taking them on a smartphone, that's the easiest way to do it because usually the pictures will be the same size. I recommend on Instagram to always take your pictures vertically instead of horizontally as well, because that's the way that people are viewing it. That's just a tip. You can post landscape pictures, but they're going to be a little bit warped if you post a carousel, unless they're all landscape. So hashtags is something you should also be using on all of your posts. The hashtag is just a symbol that is used to categorize and make content discoverable. This means that you're basically putting a category on all of your posts. It can help with things like discoverability. It helps with audience engagement and content organization. For instance, when you hashtag Montessori school or you hashtag Montessori toddler program, it will come up when a parent goes on Instagram and searches Montessori toddlers, it'll come up on all of the different options of posts under that same hashtag. So it's just another way to increase your visibility, and it doesn't hurt to post a couple of hashtags in your caption. Tips for hashtags. Hashtags always have to be one word. They cannot have punctuation. So for example, an @Montessori school name is a perfect hashtag. That is, a hashtag, not hashtag Montessori space school space name. That's why all hashtags are just combined. You can't put a period, you can't put an underscore, you can't put a number. That will make your hashtag non-clickable and it won't show up on as a real hashtag. You should always use the school hashtag. I recommend just creating a hashtag school name and just posting that on all of your posts. And hashtags, really, you don't have to overthink it. It can just describe what the image or video is. So if it's a picture of a practical life shelf, you can put hashtag practical life, hashtag primary Montessori, hashtag Montessori school name, hashtag practical life shelf inspiration. You can just come up with a variety of different hashtags that are relevant to the photo. Really think of your target audience and what kind of things they might be looking up. If you want to reach more people. I don't recommend spending too much time on hashtags. Don't overthink it, because really it's about the quality of the content more, but I do recommend posting hashtags on all of your posts if you just want to increase visibility a little bit. Any questions on hashtags?
Camilla.
Yes.
I was wondering if you have a hashtag called toddler Montessori, and if someone is searching just for Montessori or just for toddler, will that still show up, or it has to be the whole thing?
You can put hashtag Montessori and then do another hashtag Montessori toddler. You can add several different ones. And I recommend just doing as many as you can come up with that are relevant to the post. Is it going to come up as a parent? Nowadays, whenever you do hashtag Montessori, there are hundreds of thousands of posts under the hashtag Montessori because it's just such a popular category on social media. So if the more niche you can get, the better. So always use a school name, hashtag Montessori school shelf, hashtag Montessori toddler program. Is it going to be that important? I don't think so. I don't think a great hashtag is going to mean you're going to get way more likes or engagement on a post. Just think of it as descriptors for the image or video.
But my question was that, does it basically, when you have a hashtag, does it look for the entire content to show up, or it can just like parse the thing and just look at, for example, as I told you, if it is Montessori toddler, so if I want to see Montessori, do I have to type the whole thing Montessori toddler? What if I just write toddler, then this hashtag Montessori toddler would not show up?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
It's very literal when people are searching. So yeah. So Instagram and device compatibility, let's talk about it, because I think this is where we lose a lot of Montessorians because they're used to using social media on desktops. It's what's accessible to us throughout the day. We're usually on our computer, making sure everything's working smoothly. And it's kind of weird to have to move to a different device for social media. Also, we don't tend to be on our smartphones as much throughout the day. We tend to be communicating with people in person, using our computer to answer emails and communications. But Instagram is really designed for mobile use. This is why it's important to get comfortable in using the app. It's free to download on your phone. If you have a smartphone, whether it's an Android or an iPhone, you can access Instagram, and the features are pretty much the same across across different smartphones. So again, while Facebook is very desktop friendly, it's very easy to create a post. It's very easy to do all sorts of things on Facebook on your desktop. This is not the case for Instagram. So I highly recommend just taking some time, if you're not used to using Instagram, to just explore the app on your phone, log into your school profile on your phone and take some time to learn the features, because you have access to so many more of these features on your phone than you do on desktop. I don't recommend doing anything other than posting from your desktop. So what can you do from a desktop on Instagram? Really, what you can do is post main feed posts. So just things that are going to come up on your grid. This is easy to do on a desktop. If you want to upload a reel on your main feed, if you want to upload a photo, this is easy to do on a desktop. Pretty much everything else, such as adding things to a story, building your profile, you want to do on a smartphone. Another thing you can do on your desktop is respond to DMs that come in through Instagram. If that's something that you wanted to do, have a tab open throughout the day to see if you get any notifications from your desktop on Instagram, you can do that. But really, you're going to have a better experience using a smartphone. What kind of content works on Instagram? Let's talk about that. So Instagram is a visual platform, and it always has been. It's always been visually led. This is a little bit different from Facebook, because Facebook, we see people writing long captions, sending links to articles, redirecting to different websites. This is not the case on Instagram. Instagram is designed to keep users in the app as long as possible and not take them off the app. So the goal, again, on Instagram is not to redirect to a different website, although that's changed a little bit with how you can link things to a story. It's about creating a visual experience on the app for users. This means that great photography is key. Videos are becoming more and more important. There are less opportunities to link to your website, so you need to be strategic with using links such as on your bio and in your Instagram stories. Captions matter less than they do on platforms like Facebook. This means you don't have to spend a lot of time on writing a caption, which is great. You can just create something short. It doesn't have to be longer than a paragraph ever, or even a sentence, and just include a couple of hashtags. And also, trends are important if you want to look professional and relevant. This means you don't want to be posting outdated, blurry graphics or photos. This will just make it look like you're not up with the times. Parents are going to be like, they're posting these pictures that aren't the most professional, or that don't really show me a lot about what they do. So it's important to be posting very high quality visual content on your Instagram if you choose to post on Instagram. Here are just some examples of something that might work better. So I have here on the good side, everything seems a little bit more Montessori related. The imagery is Montessori. Even when I have just a graphic, it seems to connect more with Montessori. We have natural elements. The colors are a little bit more muted. You would never walk into a Montessori classroom and be overwhelmed by bright colors. Everything's muted. Here in the back to school picture as well, you see Montessori materials. The post just feels a little bit more on brand for the Montessori space, whereas you might want to steer away from imagery or graphics that aren't Montessori relevant, that might be a little bit too colorful, a little bit too mishmashy, that looks outdated. This is not what people are going on Instagram to see, especially if you're a parent. You want to see things like a beautiful shelf, a child at work, Montessori materials, activities that are going on, maybe outdoor play. These are things that parents would think of wanting to see on a Montessori profile. Here are just some samples of posts. Make sure the pictures are not blurry, that they're clean. You don't have to have a bunch of pictures of just students. I know it can be difficult posting. Some parents are particular about privacy, so you can always post your shelves, things like this. Again, the caption isn't too long, and you can include hashtags. I recommend including more hashtags than the sample here, but keep it short and sweet. The caption should not take you too long to write. Here's just another example, something, just imagery that is relevant. And the caption is short and sweet. It's inviting engagement, and you're using hashtags. When it comes to using graphics, as I showed you a couple slides back, it's a great opportunity to use school colors. It's easy to do that on Canva. If you upload a sample of your logo, you can just pull the colors from your logo on different graphics. It just makes your profile look so much more cohesive when you're using school colors. I have an example of a school that I'm going to share as well that's a successful Instagram account that will maybe give you some insights into that as well. What you really want to do is consider your audience when it comes to posting on Instagram. What do they want to see? Your current families are going to want to see pictures of their child, if they allow the rights, of course, of you posting their child. They're going to want to see what activities are going on at school. Did you have a special event? Prospective parents are going to want to take a look at your classrooms. They're going to want to see, how do children behave at school? What are they doing with their time at the school? That's the kind of content that usually people are going to respond to. So again, images of your beautiful environment, students at work, school events. You can post about the benefits of Montessori. You can post testimonials. This is something that prospective parents want to know about. Images and videos about how your school stands out. So if you have an amazing outdoor play area that's very foresty, you can post videos and pictures of that. Do you have a special music program? You can post pictures of that. So these are things that you can use to engage with your audience. What goals should you be setting on Instagram? Let's talk about it. So you're investing time in Instagram. You want to make sure it's worth your while. A lot of people are looking at followers. How many followers you have? If you're not growing your following, is your Instagram successful? This is definitely an area you should be looking at, but I don't think it's the most important. Sure, you want to make sure that current families are following you and just let them know this is a way to stay updated with day-to-day at our school. So please follow us on Instagram if you have an Instagram, to stay in touch with us. And but really, growing your following isn't necessarily going to be the most important thing. Engagement, things like how many likes you're getting, how many comments, how many views. I want to just preface engagement by saying that a lot of schools have noticed a drop in likes. And this is again because Instagram decided to add a bunch of ads on people's feeds. And so likes dropped dramatically on everyone's posts. On big Instagrams and little Instagram accounts, they've noticed a drop in likes. So don't worry so much about the likes. Worry more about the views. And when you have a business profile, you'll be able to see how many people were able to view your profile and view your post. That's what's ultimately the most important. Of course, parents are going to comment sometimes, more your current families, not prospective families. And then reach. Yeah, our new parents viewing your profiles, how can you tell? Again, I would recommend asking how people found you, asking parents who come in for a tour, if they checked out your Instagram, how did they find you? Really, what parents are doing when it comes to checking your Instagram, and this is with prospective families, is they're going to find you on Google, most likely through a search engine. They're going to go to your website. They're going to check out your website. And then they're going to say, I want to see more. I want to see more imagery, more videos, more stuff about the school. They're going to go on your Instagram account or your Facebook account, and they're going to do a little bit of a stalk. They're going to look at your pictures. Oh, like, what is it like day to day? What are they posting to keep parents updated? And they might do this either before a tour or after a tour. So just think about it as your potential parents that are going to come at your school are viewing your Instagram as a way to get insight as to day at your school. So curate the content accordingly, make your school stand out on this platform, invite these families who are just giving your school a little bit of a stalk to take a peek into what day-to-day is at your school. What benefits are you offering? What makes your community special? That's the kind of content that you want to gear. And then look at the reach that you're getting. Don't worry so much about the likes or followers, although that's something that you should want to grow. Don't worry or stress too much about that. Any questions on this? How can you engage with your audience? How can you improve that engagement? Again, Instagram is always changing and updating. Like I said, in the past year, they've clogged everyone's feeds with ads, and that's made engagement change. So it's important to keep up with what's going on with Instagram. What I recommend doing is always reposting every single main feed post onto your story. This means people can click on that little circle for the 24 hours. It's more likely to get seen. Post really good content only. Don't post blurry pictures. I can't say that enough. I see that happen from time to time, and I just think to myself, like, oh, they missed a huge opportunity. Nowadays, most smartphones have great cameras. You don't need to have a professional photographer come in, and you don't have to use only professional photography, but just take good quality pictures. Things like using hashtags can help you engage with your audience. Encouraging families to follow you on socials. Again, whenever you have open houses, whenever you have brochures, business cards, always include your Instagram handle, your @ and say, follow us for updates about our school and community. Include your Instagram handle on your website. And remember that likes doesn't always equal success of your Instagram, and to post frequently and consistently. How can your team help you thrive on Instagram? All right, we know that you don't always have time to run Instagram on your own as a school leader, and usually it doesn't come as a top priority. It shouldn't. You have so many other things on your plate. So it's important to delegate as much as you can and make Instagram a team effort. Ask teachers and assistants to take pictures when appropriate. I put every day, but really when appropriate. I recommend having a list of photo approved students in each class. And eventually the teachers will just remember who's on the list, who is not allowed to appear in social media pictures. And so you can take those pictures and build a little library of potential Instagram posts. Utilize things like Instagram scheduling. So plan your posts in advance so they don't fall at the bottom of your to-do list and your Instagram goes without being posted on for weeks at a time. You can repurpose content. If you have a great photo library with pictures that a photographer took that are amazing, use that as your imagery, as your great photo. You don't need to go in and actively take pictures every day if you don't have the time or resources for that. I recommend taking the time to organize a photo library for this purpose. If you're a content subscriber of Nido Marketing, I believe you have access to our Montessori stock photo library. Feel free to use that for your Instagram imagery as well. I recommend to invite your younger staff members to help you with content. Utilize their skills. Millennials have been on Instagram, some of us since we were in our teens. They're used to it. They understand the app like the back of their hand. It comes very naturally to them. So use the skill that your millennial employees or young Gen Z employees or even students have, and ask them to help. If you have adolescent students as well, ask them to help with photography, maybe with copywriting, captions, things like that. You can really utilize a lot of different tools to help build your Instagram. So don't do it alone. What about other platforms other than Instagram? Let's talk about it. So trends change, platforms are going to continue to change in popularity. I think we got very used to posting on Facebook regularly as schools. This has usually been our main social platform, and now it's changing to Instagram, and that might change in the future. I still recommend posting on Facebook. Twitter, if your parents like to use Twitter, again, I recommend taking that poll to see how they interact with your school on social media to see if it's worth your time. It can be great for school updates, and you can share links to your website. TikTok, this is every time I bring up TikTok, administrators get scared, I think, because that's not something we want to spend our time on necessarily. It is growing in popularity, and I think it's a way to reach people. But I recommend just if you don't have the bandwidth to prioritize Instagram above all social platforms right now. But I think that might change. Who knows? Maybe TikTok will grow in popularity more. What I can say for a fact is that millennial parents are on TikTok, and there's a lot of Montessori TikTok content. I've spent time on Montessori TikTok, but it's mostly parenting tips that people are looking for, questions on what is Montessori. So again, you can go on there to see content, get some inspiration for content. YouTube, if you have any long format videos or parenting videos, having a YouTube channel for your school can be great. Instagram moving forward for the short foreseeable future, because everything with technology trends we can't look too far ahead. Instagram is going to be probably the more important one for this millennial parent generation. So Video is the future, and this is across platforms. So even on Facebook, even on Twitter. And I think that was really onset from TikTok. People want video content. That's what they tend to gravitate towards more nowadays. So again, creating video content can be great. If you create one video a month, you don't have to create a bunch of videos and post. That's not your main job as a school when it comes to marketing. But something short and sweet can really help you with engagement, and it can be easy to do. You don't have to, again, go in and record videos. You can just take pictures and make a collage. And nowadays, smartphones have great camera capabilities and even editing. If there's a free app called Splice that you can get on your iPhone or smartphone, and that's something that you can easily create collages with. So if you want to create a 15-second photo collage that's a reel, you can do it on Splice for free. It's as easy as just selecting the videos and cropping them, and it will glue them together for you. So things like that make it really easy and accessible to be posting video content. Resources that we have for Instagram. You can always check out our resource exchange. We have an Instagram for a Montessori school course if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty about using Instagram. We have our private school leadership forum, so you guys can ask one another what you guys are posting on Instagram if you need any advice. We have our weekly town halls that are always free to join. We have loads of videos on Instagram on our Nido Marketing YouTube channel that are free to visit and watch. And we have templates as well that can help you with Instagram, things like Instagram scheduling, etc. Let's discuss now, if you have any questions. What I wanted to do, and I'll what I wanted to do is visit a successful Instagram account. And an Instagram account that I really love is a school called the Clover School. Yes, they have a fantastic Instagram account, and I just wanted to show a sample of what a great Instagram. So they're located in Toronto. As you can see here, they have the logo. They're always posting stories. They have a story right now. As you can see, the ring is there. They have the bio is great. It's a 26 years of heart-centered Montessori in Toronto. They have the beautiful highlight covers that are on brand. These are their school colors. All of their pictures, every single one is high quality and not blurry. They're also creating reels. So if I click on reels, these are all of the videos they have. They're keeping up with funny trends. They have these beautiful covers on. It just seems like if I was a parent that was comparing different schools, and this was one of the Instagram accounts I visit, I would feel a personal connection to the school. I would be, wow, they have this going on. They have their summer program. They're doing flower arranging. I can look on their posts, and it just feels, like I know a lot about what they're about and what their school is about. So I recommend just looking across different Instagram platforms, profiles of different Montessori schools and seeing how they operate. What are they posting? How are they connecting with their audience? How would a prospective parent feel about this particular profile? I think this is great. I don't know if they're on the call or if they see this recording, but shout out to the Clover School. They have a great Instagram account. They're doing it very well. So I just wanted to share that example. Before we open it up to discussion and questions, I also wanted to point out that we have our Montessori parenting series coming up in October. So if you're a Montessori Thrive member school, this is a free Montessori parenting class series for your families. It's going to happen on Zoom every Wednesday night throughout the month of October. We have great speakers. So we'd love to see your families there to learn about Montessori. If you have any questions about that, you can also ask me. I'll go ahead and stop sharing and see if anyone has any questions about using Instagram. Hopefully this was helpful.
Camilla, is it fair for me to assume that to have a good social presence, a meaningful social presence, presence in social media, we literally need to have one full-time resource really managing that? Is it not something that you're going to, be bits and pieces here and there that you can do and still have something successful? I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I won't lie, it will take a little bit of time. I recommend figuring out what's realistic for you. If one post a week is realistic for your school, I think that's a great goal to set. If you can post daily, usually this is a school that has more resources. Maybe you have an administrative assistant who's in charge of doing the Instagram account. If you don't, I recommend just coming up with a schedule that you can keep up with realistically and post when you can. Really, it takes a couple of minutes to create an Instagram post. It's very quick and easy. It takes a couple of seconds once you get the hang of using the app. So I don't know. If you're creating all sorts of very intricate content, if you're having highly edited, long format videos, then yes, it can feel intimidating and maybe you would need someone who oversees Instagram. If you're posting photos, if you're just keeping up a presence on the app, if you're just sharing important school news and events, I think that you can do it in passing, and it can be something that takes you a few short minutes. So it really depends on what kind of content you want to be posting and how frequently you want to post.
It's just that it's not just Instagram. I'm talking about social media. I'm talking about Facebook. I'm talking about blogs. I mean, there's a whole bunch of array of things that you have to have a well-rounded presence. That's what I was talking about, not just Instagram, I can understand. So that was my concern in terms of how to make it happen. I mean, one would like to, but it seems like such an overwhelming task. You don't even know where to start.
No, certainly. I would say delegate where you can. I'm not sure how big your administration team is at your school, but definitely, try to spread out the workload. When I was at a Montessori school, we had the assistants helping a lot with Instagram. So it didn't fall on the administrative team as much because the administrative team had so many other things to take off their to-do list. It just wasn't in their bandwidth. And it was a really great way for the assistants to feel more connected to our community. They were the ones taking pictures in the classroom, and they would submit a short caption and a picture to the administrative team just for approval, and they would go into the Instagram and post it. So that was completely offloaded from the administrative team. You can do this on all your with all your social platforms. But again, it depends on how you're set up, what you're comfortable with, but there are different solutions.
Yeah, and I just want to put in a plug for our service too that you have access to, Wally, in that with our content, we can post the blog for you. We can post the Instagram post that goes with the blog for you. So at least with that, you're getting one post a week, and then those daily Facebook posts. So with that, you at least have, a presence there. And then what your team can fill in are those events and specific, photos of things happening at your school or an open house or things like that. But what we try to provide is just that sort of foundational presence so that there's always something there that would be of interest to parents.
That'll help a lot. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, 1 minute to go.
I have a quick question. How many times a week should a business be posting on Instagram for you to have an active presence?
So I recommend anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week would be the ideal. I recognize that not every school can do this. As long as you're consistently active, I would say minimum once a week should be an aim nowadays. I think that's a good goal to set. If you can post every day, great. I don't think parents are necessarily that engaged to check every single day what their child's school has posted, but I think it keeps content coming if you do 2 to 3 times a week. And if you just repost those main feed posts onto your story, it's just going to come up on parents' radar a little bit more.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? I'm also going to drop my email here. If you have any questions about setting up an account, using Instagram, please feel free to shoot me an email or ask in our leadership forum. I'm happy to offer resources and help. I've jumped on calls before to answer quick questions about Instagram. But really, I think the best way to figure out the features and get used to Instagram is just to use the app when you can. Just get on there and explore from a user experience and start posting for your school. It's really kind of one of those things that you learn as you go. Next week's town hall, we have a speaker. We're going to be joined by, let me see here, who's on the schedule, by Kara Zellas. She's going to be sharing the benefits of SEL on school climate and classroom environment, how you can communicate this to families. If you offer any SEL learning at your school, it can definitely be part of the benefits that you offer. So social emotional learning in the Montessori space is something that we do well already, but we look forward to having professionals speak about it and how you can communicate the benefits to your current and prospective families. So we look forward to that. I see a question. I will be reposting this recording later today. So anywhere from this afternoon to tomorrow morning, it'll be available on our YouTube channel and on Montessori Thrive. I'm also going to be uploading all of the slides to Montessori Thrive. So if you have access to our collection, you'll be able to download them and take any notes or rewatch those tutorial videos if you want to go back and rewatch them and follow them step by step. All right. It was wonderful having you all back. I hope this was a helpful town hall, and I hope you get started on Instagram. And hopefully you feel a little bit inspired to post and connect with, with these technologically advanced parents that we're seeing more of. So
Thank you, everybody.
take care. See you next week.
Bye-bye.